Here we go. All right, we're only a couple minutes late, but we're here. It's Friday night, and Packers are very confusing, which has me, my feelings internally. I'm very confused. I'm very conflicted at the moment, and confused and confuzzled and puzzled by a lot of things that are happening from the Packers in a very brief, so far, new, young offseason, but still, I'm confused. What's happening, Ben? What's the square root of 69? Yay!
Eight something.
That's
for all you non-math majors. I still don't know what this means. I think it was just, a bunch of college guys who wanted to have a saying that had 69 in it.
Probably.
Yeah, I know that's what it was, but that's, whatever.
And they, most of them didn't know the square root of anything, but I don't either, so that's fine.
I didn't. I was not. I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know I drink squirt a lot.
I'm having a Moon Man tonight. Moon Man.
Having a squirt. That's my brew.
From New Glarus Brewing. Oh, boy. Poured her a little fast. And I got Gramps. This is also, that shirt was making me feel better, and this is also making me feel better.
Orbs Bottle Gas Service.
That's right.
Orbs Plumbing and Heating. Yep.
Orvin Mike right there, baby. Orvin Mike.
That'll do it.
That's the only bottle opener I ever want to have. Try to keep
the only thing that
whole life.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me happier is our Olsenite t-shirts. Nothing better than a toilet seat t-shirt. That's all I'm going to say. And people who know us know what's up with that. Well, I just want to say.
Go ahead, say.
Something very important. There should be a rule against super teams in the NFL. There just should be. And last year there was a super team that was allowed to happen with a bunch of veterans who were very good all together on one team. And surely they couldn't keep all, they had like 7 free agents or some crazy number of free agents, right? Surely they couldn't keep their top Pro Bowl all-world pass rusher, who's a free agent, their top defensive tackle, who's long in the tooth, but is a very, very, very good player. They couldn't keep him, as well as their top Pro Bowl wide receiver, who is tall and fast and all this kind of stuff, right? Surely, and then their Hall of Fame best tight end of all time. Surely they couldn't keep, all. I mean, come on, there's no way they couldn't keep all that. And then not only that, their big first round running back that they picked up off the scrap heap after another team cut him last year and they just signed him for nothing. They surely couldn't keep all 5 of those all pros world team awesome guys on their team again. I mean, because obviously they couldn't have. Where could they get the money from? They've got the greatest quarterback of all time. They're paying him a crap ton of money. Where in the world? How could there's no way that they could possibly bring back every single starting player from that Super Bowl championship team, right? No way. There's no way. Yet somehow they put the nail in the coffin today when the Buccaneers signed Leonard Fournette to a contract, and now every single starting player on the freaking Super Bowl winning Buccaneers team from last season is again on the team this upcoming season. How? First of all, how is that allowed to happen? Secondly, how do they even do it? How does it happen? Where does the money come from? Everybody kept saying there's no way they can keep Shaq Barrett and the receiver, right? No way, Godwin. There's no way. You can't keep both top-notch all-pro wide receiver and top-notch all-pro pass rusher. Like, one of them is going to have to go, right? Like the Packers. We couldn't keep Aaron Jones and Corey Linsley, right? One of them had to go, if not both. Somehow they got them all. And they got Ndamukong Suh. And they got Gronk. And they got Leonard Fournette. And every single player that started, and they got that young secondary of a bunch of really good, aggressive players are still all there. And they also got JPP, who's still there, who's still under contract from before.
Mm-hmm.
And Vita Vea. And their 2 inside line. Oh, yeah, Levante David. Surely they could have signed him. They got him back again. He was another guy who was a free agent. Signed back again. And everybody's like, Like what? Why do we even bother putting a team together?
Look, man, it's
crazy.
Apparently you can do it if you know how to work the cap and structure things and do all that and push the money down the road and, invest in the right guys, the money you need to. And then the other guys, you get them to come along, like you said, late in their careers when they're just looking to win and they don't care about, they made plenty of money. Like Sue made tons of money from the Lions. So what does he care right now? Right. He'll sign for pretty cheap. It was like $9 million. That's only a little bit more than Kevin King signed for. And Kevin King.
Okay.
Anyway, that's later.
You have to do your rant, but
I'm not
why I brought it up.
No.
Oh, I thought we were gonna start with that.
No.
I just woke up, so I'm rubbing.
I don't have anything. Anyway, let's finish on this part. I just wanted to clarify that Ben did say Buccaneers before, just in case you thought he said something else. YouTube. So don't shut us down because he did say Buccaneers.
Yeah, my sound last week, I guess my sound kept going in and out. I hope it doesn't happen this week, but it probably
No, it did it. Your volume was just fine. It's just that you said it kind of fast, and I almost maybe it was my brain that was translating it into something with an F in the beginning. I don't remember, but maybe not. Maybe
that's usually the word I say. So
maybe that was just me.
The reason why I bring this up is because you brought up Kevin King. So I mean that's the story of the week in my opinion.
We got to sign our guys back too. Look, we got all our good guys back.
That's what everybody is saying. When you bring up the fact that the Packers have done this, because the Packers are for some reason doing the exact same thing that the Buccaneers did, except for a few small tweaks that a lot of fans don't seem to realize that I wanted to bring up. But the fact that they had to restructured all these high price guys, right? Which they had to do because otherwise they couldn't keep them all. So they're keeping these guys. But the difference is this: those guys are on the team no matter what. Preston, Amos, Billy Turner, they're the only way, they're going to get a cap hit if they cut them. So by restructuring, it's the same as if they would have cut him, but they still keep that player, which might be good, might be bad, but it's better than, a nobody player, right? And I understand those moves. Okay. But when you sign back, Aaron Jones, first of all, who is a great player, and we need him, right? But they let Corey Linsley go. And then, so as a GM, most people be like, don't sign the running back, sign the center. Packers did the opposite of that. And I love Aaron. For me, I'm happy. But I understand people being upset. Then the other thing, when they go and sign Kevin King back and Big Dog back to a 2-year deal. For the last 3 years, they've signed them to 1-year deals every time. And then this year's 2-year. Now, I think that's so that they can spread out the salary cap over 2 years. So it's not as high a hit this year. And then they're just going to see you next year. By the way, the cap for next year is going to be insanity land. The way they've been pushing everybody's contracts to next year. But anyways, the difference is this. The Buccaneers got all 22 starters back on a Super Bowl winning team. And the Packers are trying to bring back guys on a NFC Championship losing team. Number one. Number two, they're bringing back guys that they could have just let them go. They're not solid, awesome players. Like that guy's awesome. They're not solid, awesome players like that guy is. They're whatever guys. They're less than players. There are 64 starting corners in the NFL at the outside. Kevin King is not one of the best 64 starting corners on the outside. And he's not a slot cover corner. He's not a nickel corner because he can't move his hips. He's useless. And in the scheme that the Packers normally play. Now, they have a new scheme. Maybe they'll have a change. That's everybody saying, okay.
Look, let me say this.
Just one more thing. Okay, and I got one thing that I'm done. Then you can take off.
No, that's fine.
But everybody's saying that. But they're bringing the band back together. The reason why this upsets me, I hate Kevin King. Big Dog, all these guys. First of all, they're going to take up playing time of young players who are ascending players, who have more athletic ability, more upside, who could then improve the team. These are not moves that improve the team. They are stagnant moves or downgraded of the team, if anything. And The one last thing is this. The last time, because everybody say, well, the Packers corner is going to be an issue. That's a major weakness. They got to help fill that weakness. The last time when they had a pass rusher issue and they decided to sign back the guy because they had a weakness on the team to make sure, because they knew who he was because he was from the team and he's a first-round pick and he sucked for years and years and years. And then finally on his contract year, he went and got like 8 sacks or some crap. And they're like, oh, well, we'll get him back because, he's good. It was Nick Perry. How did that work out? Yeah. 1 year and done. Hasn't been in the league since.
Yeah, nobody wanted him.
Nobody wanted Kevin King.
Exactly.
Especially me. I mean, what the hell?
Where's Bernard today?
Take it away. Take it away.
I can't believe Bernard's not in here yet and just ribbing us with all the crap he was throwing around about Kevin King just to set me off.
I think Bernard, maybe he's the one who started this. Maybe he's the guy, like all his talk on here.
He might feel bad
karma.
Yeah, he might feel responsible or bad that this happened.
That might be why he's not saying nothing. We're not mad at you, Bernard.
We're not. It's not your fault.
Don't joke about Kevin King because
Yeah.
it'll bite you in the ass, and it just did this week.
The reason you can't, Bernard, is because there is a Packer insider, someone from the front office that watches our show. It's been proven. And if they hear, they know the people that check out our show get it. They know that they get it. And so if you say something on this show or put something in the chat on this show, their ears and their eyes are on it. And they might be that little whisper into Brian Gutekunst. And they'll be like, hey, Bernard, he's one of the regulars on Hafeman Bros. He said he really wants Kevin King back. That Kevin King is a really good player. So let's get that done. So that can happen. But it's still not your fault. They made the decisions, not you. Oh, look, all right. When this happened, I don't even know. I have to say this first before we get into this stuff. I have to say this. We lost a subscriber. I take every one of those losses to heart. It hurts my heart because we work so hard to get subscribers.
Maybe it's Bernard.
I hope not. Hope not. Anyway, we lost a subscriber. It makes me sad. But the thing is, look, I know we've been more negative lately, but we told you guys from the beginning, we are not Packers Kool-Aid drinkers. I sat there after this Kevin King thing was announced, and I was losing my mind. I was like, are you serious? After what I just said, after how I was celebrating the fact that he was not going to be here, and I said to Mo, no more Kevin King, no, ever again. And what do I get? Kevin King again? No, why? So anyway, after I saw that and I was losing my mind, I wanted to do a show on Tuesday night, an emergency show.
And I said no.
It was good that we didn't because I would have just ranted and raved the whole dang time. I've had some time to digest this. I'm still not any better with it, but at least I'm less mad. I'm more numb to it now. But there are several key points to the whole Kevin King thing. But I want to say this before we get into that. Now, you watch a show, you check it out. We appreciate that very much. We're not trying to be negative, but damn it, the Packers are doing some dumb stuff, and we're just trying to tell you what we feel about it, and we're being real about it. There's no like added drama just to try to get people fired up or clicks or make people laugh at us because we're ridiculous. This is really what we think, but it's also because we care about the team. We care about the team. We want the Packers to be better. We want them to win a Super Bowl. Signing back Kevin King does not help them get closer to a Super Bowl, especially if they're going to put him on the field. Okay, Kevin King, just like Ben said. Now, I'm going to give you some stats. We're going to do some comparisons because I'm going to try to take this different approach to it where I'm not just slamming him and saying what I think about him. I'm going to actually talk about what he's done versus some other guys that might make you think, wow, really? That's a comparison to Kevin King with some of these other guys? Anyway, but the thing with it is, bare minimum, for him, you let free agency play out. You do not need to sign him early in free agency. Are you crazy? Nobody wants him. Everybody knows what he is. Everybody has seen what he is.
You wait until after the draft and you see what you do.
Exactly.
And then even there, you look at every other corner possibly available. And only at the last minute where there's nobody left, you go and pick him up in like July. Not now.
Right. If you need another body, you go to him after nobody offers him anything, and he's humbled by it. And he's like, wow, nobody wants me. And then you go to him maybe at that point, and you offer him veteran minimum with an opportunity to compete to make the team, not $6 million and being like, hey, you're going to be on the field or whatever. I know incentives in there, blah, blah, blah. But even that's way too, even without the incentives, it's way too much.
Dude,
it's like
5 cents is too much.
You give him that's
I mean, come on.
He
should be giving them money back for as crappy as he was for the last freaking 4 years.
I mean, here's the deal, right? You have that's why it just doesn't make any sense. If you're going to offer him a contract, that's the way you go about doing it. Because no one are you seriously afraid that someone else is going to sign that guy? Come on, nobody is. So the Packers could have benefited financially by waiting, letting reality hit Kevin King in the face, and then going to him if they really still thought he had something, if he was motivated enough and all that, then going to him and saying, hey, all right, we'll offer you a league minimum contract with an opportunity to compete to make the team, and that's it. And that might get his butt in gear, and maybe he'll try harder. Maybe he'll be better. Maybe he'll work harder. Maybe he could be better then. Maybe he could be a serviceable cornerback at that point. I still doubt it, but you're not overpaying then, and you're not also putting him on this situation where he thinks he's going to be a starter now because you already signed him like day one in free agency. I don't get it. Anyway.
Well, it wasn't day one. I mean,
whatever.
It was a week later. It's a week later, but
it's just, oh God. And then, and then I listened to, these other Kool-Aid drinker guys, and I get it. Look, people want to be happy. They want to think about hope and positivity with their Packers, and I want to too. But I also live in this place called reality. And with Kevin King, in reality, Kevin King is not good. So that was a total waste. It's just dumb. Now Rick is here. The Lions might have taken him. I don't know. They did take Geronimo, but the Lions, Rick, just got their new starting quarterback recently too. The one, Mr. Tim Boyle, signing with the Lions.
That's why Rick said that, because they just signed ex-Packers that are mediocre players or worse.
I think Tim Boyle is going to overtake Jared Goff by midseason. That's what I think.
I think you're wrong.
I think so. Timmy Boyle, Timmy B. I hope so. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's a side note, but that's Tim Boyle. Good luck, buddy. Do well in Detroit. Get a starting gig. Don't get killed in there behind that crappy offensive line. All right. Let Jared Goff suck it up for a while, then get in there and do your thing. He can be pretty good. He'll be better. He'll now be the third best quarterback in the division. Tim Boyle.
Wasn't he still the third best quarterback in the division last year?
Well, I don't know. Stafford is better than him. Come on. Stafford, Kirk Cousins. Come on. He's not better than those guys.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Now he's the third best because he's going to be better than Goff and definitely better than Red Rocket in Chicago. Not better than Kirk Cousins, though. We already talked about that last week.
Yeah. Cousins is pretty good.
All right. See, here's what the things the Packers are doing, right? All right. Rick says Big Dog was a sentimental signing. I understand that. I understand the leadership and all that. That was the other part. Same guys, Andy Herman, Aaron Nagler, checked out their stuff. Okay. Respectable guys. I get it. But they also want to try to put the positive on all these things. And they're just loving the Big Dog signing. I love Big Dog too. He's great. He's a great guy. He's a great leader. Everybody loves him on the team. That's awesome. And that does some stuff for your team chemistry. I get it. But like Ben was saying, to keep him on the team, to have him on the field, who doesn't get to play then? Like who's missing snaps? You have three young. Maybe Robert Tunyon's. Maybe that's the move. Big Dog's back and Robert Tunyon's not back. Is that the move? Because if it is, I'm going to blow my top.
Is Tunyon signed yet?
I don't think so.
See, that's the other thing.
I got to look it up.
And why would you restructure all these guys to get yourself cap room to sign back Mercedes and Kevin King? I mean, what are you doing?
I don't get it.
Do that for Robert Tunyon, for Lazard, and all these. Like those are the guys we need to get back, not freaking. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, if you have money, if you have money left over for Kevin King and even Mercedes later, fine. But those
all they have to do is just let him walk. Just let him go.
Yeah. It's
not even hard. They weren't. I mean, I like Big Dog. He's fine. I don't think he's worth signing back though. Dominic Daphne showed us he can play. He's a good player.
True.
DeGuara is coming back from injury. Hopefully he's fine.
You're not going to keep 5 tight ends.
Round pick. Yeah. A 3rd round pick, Jay Sternberger, he's got to get on the field. And Tunyon is their second best receiving weapon on the team besides Devontae Adams. So what the crap? What is the point of this guy? He misses blocks all the time in the running game. He's not as good as everybody says he is.
Hold on here. Andy Herman was. Did you watch Andy Herman lay it on thick on the Big Dog?
But
I got to tell you,
he's not. And everybody keeps saying, "Oh, he's such a great leader," and I've heard him talk. He's not like an inspirational leader.
Just because he's a big dude.
He's just been in the league a long time, and he talks and he's a nice guy.
Yeah,
but he's not like a guy who gets people moving. This isn't like a Charles Woodson thing. It's more like a Julius Peppers thing. He doesn't get you going. He's just a nice guy who, who's been in the league a long time, and you look up to him. But that doesn't mean he's a great leader. I mean, I don't know.
I like him. I like his personality. I like him for the team. I like him for leadership. Great. And I like how he's helped mentor the young guys. Awesome. Guess what? All those guys have already gotten mentored by him now for a couple of years. So let them go. Let them play. It's fine. Here's the overstatement, okay? You pointed out, we've seen videos, we've went back and watched even highlights of games, and you see him miss blocks. You see him miss a bunch of blocks. You see him not be this dominant blocker that Nathaniel Hackett says he is, that no one else. Andy Herman said in his video, he was talking to Nathaniel Hackett and how he's like, no one else in the league can do what Mercedes Lewis can do. No one else in the NFL can do what Mercedes Lewis can do. Nathaniel Hackett believes that. Because Andy Herman says, quote, Mercedes Lewis, one of the best, and he said like English, like old English, the best run blocking tight ends in the league, one of the best run blocking tight end in the league, one of the best or the best. And then he also says he's also one of the best pass blocking tight ends in the league.
Then why don't they use him for that more?
Just line him up a tackle. Tell him to gain like 20 pounds. Get a tackle, bro. You need some more tackles.
You know what's interesting?
Maybe that's what it is. That's what it is, Ben.
Oh, tackle. He's going to play tackle.
He's going to play tackle.
Because they don't have any tackles. That's right.
Now it makes sense.
Now you got it. You got it. That's right. That's what it was.
We got it, guys. We just figured it out in this show.
Good thinking.
Packers are geniuses. Just like Mike Florio keeps saying that Mark Murphy is a genius.
Yeah, I don't know
making Aaron Rodgers because they drafted.
Has he ever heard Mark Murphy talk?
No, he says Mark Murphy is playing chess and Aaron Rodgers is just playing checkers because Mark Murphy has found a way to keep Aaron Rodgers just salty enough to be motivated to do his best because they drafted a quarterback. And that was the move. That's why it was such a great draft move because he got the most out of Aaron Rodgers by doing that. I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers is not motivated by your first round quarterback to play better than he could play. He just was second year in the system. He had a lot of other stuff going on. They didn't run the ball as much. They didn't run the ball for touchdowns as much.
They didn't run the ball as much. Good. That is correct.
Yeah, it is true.
Correct.
And especially in the red
run
zone.
The ball, and they were still top 10 rushing team in the NFL last year when they barely ran it.
And in the red zone, they didn't run that as much. Ben, look, it's just mere facts. Aaron Jones had 19 touchdowns the year before, right? You had a bunch of rushing touchdowns the year before, which means you can't have passing touchdowns. And this year you had not that many rushing touchdowns, so you had more passing touchdowns. Now you also scored more points. The offense was more efficient. Guys knew what the heck they were doing because it was year 2. And you hit way more big plays this year than you did the year before.
Aaron Jones hit more big plays.
Well, so did MVS and so did the pass game. They hit a lot more.
Right.
They hit a lot more big plays, right? So because of that, that's why Aaron Rodgers had such a much better statistical year than he did the year before. It was not because Mark Murphy is some genius for drafting Aaron or Jordan Love to make him mad. Come on, dude. how does Florio say that with a straight face? And he's been saying he must have learned from Donald Trump and all these other guys that if you just say something 100 million times, then it becomes fact. Because it still doesn't make sense, Florio. It didn't make
Florio
sense.
hates Donald Trump.
The first, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you say something over and over and over again, the same thing, and then you think people start to believe it. Just because he said it over and over again doesn't mean it makes more sense now, because it didn't when he first said it. Chris Sims is still like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And it still doesn't make sense. So now he only says it. He doesn't say it as much when he's with Chris Sims. He says it more when he's with one of his other co-hosts. I can't remember what her name is. Anyway, I don't watch that show enough, but I see enough of Florio, and it drives me up a wall.
Well, let's get back on topic here. We're all over the place. Are we talking Kevin King or what? You said you got stats. Let's go.
Oh, God.
You keep changing the subject. You keep going on and ramble on other things. We'll get to those things. We'll get to those.
I'm done with all that part.
No, we got more to talk about there.
Kevin King, here we go. Mr. Kevin King. Or do you want to celebrate Aaron Jones signing here? You want to finish with Kevin King?
No, just Kevin King.
All right, this is what I did. I looked at statistics and information on not the best corners in the league, because I would never compare Kevin King to them, but corners that the Green Bay Packers have had on their team, have drafted or gotten as undrafted free agents, mostly draft picks, but I included one undrafted free agent because he's just so damn good, just for comparison point, which we talked about him last week. But these are guys that the Packers had, and this was production information comparing them to Kevin King in their first 4 years, basically playing with the Packers. Okay, a couple of information things about Kevin King first. One, here are his coverage rankings. Okay, minimum 200 snaps for a cornerback for a corner. His coverage rankings in each of his 4 years. In 2017, he was ranked 123 out of 131 corners. 123 out of 131. Hey, Lee, thanks for joining us. 2018, Kevin King.
Wait, say it again. Say it again.
2017, his rookie year, the year that you passed over TJ Watt and moved back and then picked this guy. He was 123 out of 131 cornerbacks who had at least 200 snaps that year. That is where he was ranked. And he was starting for the Green Bay Packers whenever he was healthy.
So he wasn't even in the top third, or not top third, but like there's three starting positions. Right. You're talking, no, not even that. It's more than, because it's
most
64.
Teams' fourth cornerbacks were better than him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Almost all fourth quarterbacks. Like he was a below average fourth cornerback on a team.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's his first year.
Yep.
2018, he was ranked 88 out of 135. So he made an improvement, but
he's still not a starting corner.
No,
because 64 starting corners, he's still not good enough to make it.
2019, when he dropped 5 interceptions that were like right in his hands, but still
he caught 5.
He still ended up with 5, but he could have had 10 picks that year. He could have had 10 picks in 2019. He was 69th out of 138 cornerbacks.
So barely a starting corner, barely a number 2 corner.
Yes.
Awesome.
And then this past year,
he
was 98th out of 141. So that is the story of 4 years of Kevin King's rankings.
That is, not even a top 3. So he would have been a top 4th corner on an average NFL team.
Yes,
this last season.
These are just facts.
That's
guys.
what we paid for.
I'm not ranting about it. These are just, I might get a little fired up at times, but these are just the facts. Okay. Also, not to mention his last season with the Packers. Now everybody's freaking out about the NFC Championship game and how terrible he looked and all that, which is true. He was terrible.
He was terrible.
He gave up.
It wasn't that game alone.
He gave up. What was it? 7. Oh yeah, he gave up 5 receptions and 2 touchdowns. And his receiver that he was covering, his receivers were targeted 7 times. So on 7 targets against him, I was Tom Brady, I would have threw at him a lot more. He gave up 5 receptions and 2 touchdowns in those 7 targets. Now, but everyone's freaking out about that. But here are his full 2020 statistics. He gave up a 70.3% completion rate against him. Guys he was covering, it was a completed pass more than 70% of the time. And a 115 passer rating against him in 2020. And we had to jump on getting him back. Are you kidding me? What are the Packers looking at here? I have a theory, and actually I think it's proved by this, but we'll get to that at the end. Okay, let's talk about some accomplishments over the 4 years. Now, you just heard the rankings. You heard what happened in 2020. Accomplishments for one, Kevin King. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe the Packers thought they were signing back Kenny King. I don't know. Anyway, you guys heard, if you heard that during any of the broadcasts, people have screwed up his name this year a whole bunch of times. All right, here we go. So in his career, these are the career 4 years of Kevin King numbers. Okay, 41 games that he was actually healthy for. 36
4 years.
In 4 years, 41 games. 36 starts of those 41. He had 27 passes defensed.
Wow.
That's it.
Not even one pass defense a game.
He had 168 tackles, 6 interceptions, 5 of them coming in 1 year in 19, 1 interception in the other 3 years.
Wow.
1 sack and 5 tackles for a loss. Okay, that's some measurables for that. Let's look at some other cornerbacks that the Packers had on their team during their first contract, during the rookie contract, and then decided to move on from. Okay, here's one. Maybe you remember Casey Hayward. Okay, let's talk about Casey Hayward. Casey Hayward played. Go ahead.
I was just saying he's a free agent right now.
Yes,
Packers could have signed him. Just saying. Okay, go ahead.
And I met him back in 2015 with Micah Hyde too. He was much smaller then. He gained some weight, some muscle. He was a good dude though. Anyway, Casey Hayward played 51 games for the Packers, but only 20 starts. Only 20 starts because he was a third corner or whatever. So he didn't see the field as much as Kevin King did in those games. He had 34 passes defensed as a guy who was playing on the inside in different position. He had the same number of tackles, 168 tackles, and no one thought Casey Hayward was a big tackler, right? Nope.
He was like, you stood next to him. He was like 120 pounds. He was like a tiny little
170 pounds. Yeah, he's a small guy. He had 9 picks. 9 picks. Kevin King had 6. And he didn't have any sacks, but he had 6 tackles for a loss. So that's Casey Hayward. He wasn't good enough to keep around. We had to let him go. Okay. All right. Let's talk about my good friend Micah Hyde, okay? Micah Hyde in 47 games. Now, I'm not going to count his first year because I'm trying to keep the number of games closer to what Kevin King actually played. Because he had three starts in 2013, but it was most of his playing time came in 14 to 16. So at 14 to 16, he played in 47 games with 30 starts. He had 22 passes defensed, 173 tackles, 8 picks, 3 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss, 3 forced fumbles, and 5 fumble recoveries.
That's because Micah Hyde is awesome.
Yes. And I know the stats, okay, whatever. Not as many pass defense. He was on the field.
Here's the difference, though. As far as keeping Micah Hyde, that would have cost a little bit of money, not a lot. But he was more valuable than Kevin King by a long shot. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, Casey Hayward, though, they could have signed him back on the cheap.
Right.
Because he was an unknown commodity, and only the Chargers gave him a shot. And he ended up being a Pro Bowler right away as soon as he left. But
Yep. Lee, you're right. Sullivan played some on the outside in 19. And, yeah, he played pretty well.
Yeah, because Tramon was playing the nickel at that point.
Yeah, he played all over the place in 19.
Sullivan was playing free safety a couple times too in 2019 because he was back there where that was the other problem. By losing Tramon, it made Sullivan go to the nickel, which then made Redmond come in at deep safety sometimes and screw. I mean, that was
bad. Look, I'm trying not to get. I'm just trying to say this stuff. I know I'm getting a little mad because when I look at it, it makes me mad.
It makes me mad listening to it.
Okay. Now let's talk about some guys that you would have never thought. Like, why? Seriously? Okay, let's do some comparables here. Let's talk about Quentin Rollins. Remember Quentin Rollins, the basketball player? The basketball player that the Packers drafted in the second round to play cornerback?
Did he even play?
He did play. He played
in 33 games. He had 15 starts, so not even close to the number of games or starts that King had, right?
Yep.
Okay. But in those 15 starts, that's like 40% of the starts Kevin King had. He had 16 passes defense where Kevin King had 27.
Wow.
He had 91 tackles, three picks, half the number of picks King had, and he played like 40% of the time. 1 sack, 4 tackles for a loss, and 2 fumble recoveries, the same as Kevin King had in 36 starts, and he only had 15 starts. And that's a guy you would have never, like that guy, you would like, we're not signing him back. Are you crazy? You saw how he played, right? Quentin Rollins? No. Well, if you use the Packers math here and you project the 15 starts into Kevin King's 36 starts and compare the numbers, it's pretty comparable. Pretty comparable. Okay, let's talk about the other guy that we drafted. We drafted a baseball player in the first round that same year who was a safety, and then we made him play corner. He's better at safety, by the way. He's proven that since he left the Packers. But he had some ball skills. I'll give him that, right? He's kind of dumb and did some dumb stuff, but he has some ball skills. All right, Demarius Randall. 39 games, he had 30 starts. So 6 less starts than King, about the same number of total games. He had 32 passes defensed, 134 tackles, 10 picks. 10 picks for Demarius Randall, 0 sacks, and 6 tackles for a loss. Now, were you clamoring for Demarius Randall to not be traded? We like gave him away. I mean, we took a terrible quarterback.
DeShone Kaiser, he was awesome.
No. We gave Demarius Randall away. And this is what I'm saying to you, okay? Because I didn't want to come in here and be like, look, Kevin King against some of the best cornerbacks in the league. No, we are talking about cornerbacks the Packers have had in recent years that they drafted. This is what those players did in their first 4 seasons with the Packers and how it compares to Kevin King. And those guys were all like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And Kevin King were like, whoop, we got to get him back. Come on. All right. And now this one is unfair to Kevin King because this guy's actually really good. But because we talked about him last week and he retired and High Riser 22 is so awesome, here's what Tramon Williams did. Now, in Tramon's first 4 years, his first year, he was an undrafted guy that was cast aside by Houston. He didn't make the Texans team, and the Packers scooped him up. So he got to get 1 start in his rookie year and didn't play hardly at all. But I don't know the number of missed tackles, Dad. That would be a lot for a lot of those guys, but especially Kevin King. So Tramon's first 4 years, though, this includes his first season where he only played 1 game. He played a heck of a lot more games. He played in 36 games. Okay, so same number of starts that Kevin King had. He played in 36 games. In 36 games, Tramon Williams had 53 passes defensed.
Holy crap.
187 tackles, which everybody thought Tramon doesn't tackle anybody. Well, he had way more tackles than that guy.
Wow.
2 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss, and 16 interceptions.
Holy crap.
That's the last good cornerback the Packers had.
You know, I hate to say this, but Jair can't even compete with that.
No, he can't.
I mean, honestly,
no.
He doesn't get interceptions.
No.
But he does cover enough that people won't throw to his side, which is good. But I mean,
now
man,
listen to
Tramon
this.
made so many plays.
I know he did. Listen to this. Because this is minus. So you take away that first year where he didn't hardly play at all.
Yeah.
And you look at years 2 through 5 instead. So his first real season is starting through his 5th season. So that's still a 4-year window. He had 71 passes defensed, 234 tackles, 5 fumble recoveries, 3 forced fumbles, and 19 picks. 19 picks in those 4 years. So that's a 4-year window. Same 4-year window, basically, as Kevin King. Okay. And just, I'm going to finish on this. I'm going to finish with my love for my man Tramon, but I'm going to give you a couple of quick playoffs. Let's talk about playoffs real quick. because we talked about Micah Hyde, we talked about Kevin King, and the numbers weren't, were pretty comparable. Hyde didn't have quite as much playing time and all that, but he made a bunch of different other plays, and he had more picks in fewer games. Kevin King in the playoffs. Let's talk about Micah Hyde in the playoffs. Micah Hyde in the playoffs. All right. He played in 3 playoff games for the Packers with 3 starts. In those 3 games, he had 3 passes defensed, 14 tackles, 1 pick, a sack, and 2 tackles for a loss. And he was playing like third cornerback and stuff like that. You remember the play against Dallas. That was his 1 pick where he jumped the route and made that awesome play. Kevin King played in 2 playoff games, 2 starts in 2020 playoffs. And this is what he did in 2 starts this season. 0 passes defensed, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks, 12 tackles.
And 1 penalty that cost us the game.
Well, he had more than 1 penalty, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that one that cost us the game.
And now he has 4 career playoff games. So he played 2 playoff games in 2019. Okay, so I just told you the 2020 stats. 2 games, 0 pass defense, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks, 12 tackles. So add 2 more games to that, the 2019 season and 2020 together. You know what you get? 2 passes defense, 0 picks, 0 sacks, 18 tackles in 4 games. That's what he did. So that's the guy we had to have back. I don't know why. I don't get it.
I got something to add. I went through because, a lot of people were saying, this is the end of the Kevin King. I'll just end it with my Kevin King part.
I got a happy note for you after, though.
Okay.
It's about Tramon.
And that's not going to end it then. But okay.
No, it's about Tramon.
So I went through because everybody was saying they're like, he's a good corner. He was just had a bad game and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And why would we sign him back and blah, blah. And they're like, the reasons why to sign him back. And I was like, okay. I went through and I listed 6 main points to Kevin King's game. Okay. And I want every Packer fan to answer the question, how many people on planet Earth could do these 6 points? Okay. Not just corners, not just NFL type corners, any corner, any player, any human being on planet Earth. These are the 6 requirements to play cornerback for the Green Bay Packers based on the fact that they signed back a player that meets all 6 of these requirements. And then you tell me if he's worth $6 million, much less 6 cents. Okay. Point number one. This is what you need to do to be able to do as a corner for the Green Bay Packers, apparently, based on the fact they signed Kevin King. Number 1, play 9 yards off to allow an easy release for the wide receiver. I can do that. My mom and dad could do that. Hell, somebody in a wheelchair could do that. Anybody could do that. So, point 1, every single human on earth could do that. Hell, you could have a monkey out there. You could have a dog. You could have a cat. You could have anything. Anybody could do that. Play 9 yards off to allow an easy release. That's point 1. Point 2, to play as Kevin King. Never, ever use the 5-yard chuck rule so that the wide receiver is not impeded during running routes. Okay? So always let the receiver, don't touch them until they get past 5 yards. Then grab them. But before that, don't grab them. Okay? Let them go. Let them do their route. It's okay. Don't mess up the offense. Just do that. How many people on earth could do that? Everybody. Every human on earth could do point number 2. They could all let the receiver run for 5 yards and do whatever they want, right? And then grab them after, or don't grab them at all. That could be part of it too. But anybody could do that. Point number 3, okay? Only look at the quarterback, okay? So that you lose sight of the receiver, which of course leads to the receiver getting open. Okay? Never look at the receiver, never chuck him, just look at the quarterback. Now, that leads to sometimes getting past breakups on quick routes or short routes because he's able to read the quarterback, see that he's about to throw the ball, and then get in there and break the play up because he does do that every now and again. But based on this, I would say probably 95% of the humans on earth could do that. Look at the quarterback, lose sight of the receiver, and then maybe make a play every now and again. Okay. Point number 4. After getting beat, okay, make sure to flail your arms, turn around all weird, okay? Then move at a nonchalant pace to try to catch up to the receiver, okay? Then mistime your jump so that the ball just barely goes over your fingertips to the waiting arms of a wide open receiver. Now, that's a little bit more complicated of a move, okay? Because you have to kind of flail your arms a little bit. So some people who don't have control of their arms might not be able to do that. So like a baby, well, babies can flail their arms. But I mean, there's probably like 90% of the humans on Earth could do that, 0.4, right? So you're talking 90% of people on Earth so far, the 4 points I mentioned so far, could play cornerback like Kevin King, okay? Now, hold on. I got 2 more. We're almost done. Number 5. And this one, this is really important. Make sure, okay, after the wide receiver catches the ball, you make a pathetic attempt at a tackle so that the opposing team has something to laugh at when they have film review later on. That's 0.5. And I'm pretty sure anybody can do that too. Like, you're not going to make a good attempt at a tackle. You're just going to barely try to get in there and just, obviously miss a tackle and get lucky and every now and again. And so probably like 85% of the planet Earth could do that. Okay. Is that worth $6 million? 85% of the planet Earth could do that for you. And here's the most important part. Here you go. The most important part, number 6.6, to play a cornerback is Kevin King. Make sure when a pass is incomplete in your direction, whether it be a drop by the receiver or a terrible pass by the quarterback, you celebrate and take credit for that play. You better take credit for that play, even though you had nothing to do with it. But take credit for the opposing team stinking, because that's the only time you're going to get any credit. But make sure you take it, because there's no other times you're going to get that. Now, out of those 6 points, Kevin King points to play cornerback for the Packers. I think 85% of the human beings on Earth could do this job. Does that make it worth $6 million a year? Because I would gladly sign me up. Sign me up to play corner for the Packers. I can do all those things, every one of them. And I'll do number 6 really well. I'll celebrate like a madman when somebody drops the ball. I mean, come on. This isn't even hard to figure out. The guy sucks. I rest my case. Back to you.
It's so ridiculous. I was so mad, and then I just had to come down from it. And then I looked up all this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, really? When I started looking at the comparables to all these other guys, I mean, look, Tramon, you can't compare. Tramon was awesome, right?
Tramon's the best.
Casey Hayward, Demarius Randall, Micah Hyde, even freaking Quentin Rollins is kind of comparable to this guy. And it just doesn't make the sense, man. But I heard people say, hey, he's had good games and can be good at times. And look, the only way Kevin King can be effective is if he's going against a tall receiver who's not that fast, who just likes to run go routes or stop routes. That's it.
Mike Evans beat him.
I understand Mike Evans beat him.
He's a tall receiver who's not that fast.
That's his best matchup, Ben. But the problem is the Packers don't use him like that. They don't say, hey, follow this guy around, because they don't do the following thing. He gets whoever lines up on his side. But as soon as anybody changes direction, he cannot handle it. He has no agility or balance or quickness in any sense of the word or term or idea. So as soon as somebody changes direction on him, he's toast. He's toast. So I don't understand.
There's a guy I watch sometimes, this guy named Jackson Kruger, who does video breakdowns.
Yeah.
He put one up after King got signed, and he was like, is Kevin King really as bad as everybody says? And he showed the 3 terrible plays in the NFC Championship game. Okay. Saying how bad they were and showing how bad they were. Then he showed 2 plays of Kevin King doing something good. And they were both against the Bears and Mitch Trubisky, number 1. He talked about, and then not that, they were both like 5-yard routes where he was playing like a zone 9 yards off, looked at Trubisky. Trubisky went back, looked at the receiver the entire time and threw it. And then Kevin King jumped the route and broke the pass up the one time. And the other time, I don't remember what happened, but he broke the pass up. But it was like a 5 to 6 yard route. are the only plays where he actually made a play. And this was against the Bears. Crappy offensive line who got pressure, who couldn't keep pressure off Trubisky. Trubisky throwing the ball, and the Bears receivers. Okay, that's when he looked good. And the thing is, like, watching the game, I think Kevin King could probably be a serviceable corner in a cover 3 defense.
Okay, sure.
You know, like when he's playing 9 yards off, and he knows he's got help on, you know, because in a cover 3, there's usually 4 guys in the shallow zone, and then 3 guys deep with the safety deep and the 2 corners playing deep. The problem is Kevin King is not a good match with Jair, because with Jair on the other side, Jair's a better man coverage guy, right? An agility guy. He can play off ball, but he's almost better covering on the ball. So you have 2 guys who are totally different. So does that mean you're going to play one half of the field is going to play like a cover 2 deep while Jair just plays man on this side? You could do that. The Packers never do. So half the time, either Kevin King is in a position to make him serviceable, or Jair is not used to the best of his ability, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem with having these 2 guys on the same team together. It's not a good fit. It doesn't work. Why did you sign him back? I don't know.
I have the answer to that, and then I gotta tell you a cool thing I looked up after watching all the Tramon stuff last week. So the answer is this. This signing of Kevin King this early, the way the Packers did it, even the fact they brought him back, and then the fact they signed him early and gave him as much, offered him the contract they did, proves that Ted Thompson was not running things in the 2017 draft. Brian Gutekunst probably made that call to pass on TJ Watt and to then move back and then to draft and select Kevin King. And Brian Gutekunst's ego don't like it when he wrong. So he doesn't want to be wrong. He wants to give Kevin King a chance to prove him right still. And that's what this signing says to me. Tell me I'm wrong, because I don't think I am.
I have no idea. What I do know is
it's the only sense it makes, bro. It's ego in the way.
Packers have had an issue over the last 4 or 5 years of signing veteran players who are average at best, who for some reason get to play over the top of younger players who have a much higher upside, especially when they were in a losing seasons and like not playing very well, like 17 and 18. Like the Jimmy Graham factor, right? The Mercedes Lewis factor, the Kevin King factor, the Christian Kirksey over Ty Summers factor, you know, and then also this last, you know, couple years before, the Preston Zedarius over Rashawn Gary this season. Like, why is Gary not playing over Preston and Zedarius? Those 2 guys stink compared to him. And it's really disappointing because when you look at other teams, they have a guy they draft who's a young player or even an undrafted free agent, and he just he balls out, and they're like, this guy, I got to get him on the field. And the same thing happened to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was great his first 2 years. Everybody knew it. I knew it. You knew it. Mike McCarthy and the Packers coaching staff didn't play him. And then finally LaFleur did. So I don't quite know. Like, if I was the GM, I would purpose, like, I finally figured it out. I was like he's let Tim Boyle go, which forces Jordan Love to be the backup. Right? Mm-hmm. He's doing that on purpose, even though Tim Boyle's a better player than Jordan Love is at this point. So if you can't tell me they're trying to get the best players on the team to win games, because they're doing stupid crap all the time. The other thing that's even more blowing my mind is the off season just 2 years ago, or no, just last year, whatever, 2019. They go and sign those free agent guys, which is win now mode. Last year, they draft for the future. This year, they rearrange a bunch of guys and sign back all the guys from last year that they could to win now mode again. So they don't, like, every other year is something different, and it doesn't make cohesive sense. What are you doing? Either pick to redo it all or pick to go and win now. That's what cost us the biggest last season, was the fact that they changed their strategy from win now to win to the future. Now they're win now again. So if they draft, now watch, this year they'll draft all needs and maybe give up better players at need positions. I don't know what they're going to do, but it makes no sense other than they're going for it all right now. Well, but there's still 2 guys. Two guys that they could save the most room in cap space have not been extended yet and or restructured. And that just tells you one big thing. After this year, because I thought it was after last year that the Packers were going to suck, right? But they found a way. They restructured everybody. They try to keep the team together, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to be totally suck. But next year, Rodgers is going to want to be out of town after he sees the team next year. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that stuff tonight. I'm too upset about it. And we've gone quite a while on Kevin King. But look, that's because everybody else was. I understand. Everyone on the internet, in the chats and Twitter and everywhere, were like hammering the crap out of this, and you people were right. And then you had Then you had some of these Packers show people who were like trying to, oh, well, he's okay and he's not that bad and he's better than you think. Well, yeah, no, he's not. He's not. Our eyes don't lie to us. We watch the games. We see what he can do and can't do. There's not much on the can side. There's a heck of a lot on the can't and whatever. But he's who Gutekunst and the Packers have decided to bring back, and he's probably going to be on the field. So prepare yourself as a Packers fan for that, to see at least one more year of Kevin King, as long as he's not hurt. Unfortunate, but there you have it. Now, a great thing about Tramon, who is awesome, who retired last week, and we did a bunch of Tramon videos last week, had Tramon breaks. I just told you those amazing stats that he did in like 4 years, his first 4 years, and then those years 2 to 5, which were just incredible. Now, Tramon had 38 career interceptions, 34 in the regular season, 4 in the postseason. And I went back and I watched that, because when we were showing the Tramon breaks last week, I was like, holy crap, that's another pick in the end zone. That's another pick in the red zone. Like, how many are there? So I went back and watched them all, and I got the numbers for you, okay? Now, Tramon only had 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns in his career, so that can't compare to Charles Woodson, who had a crap ton.
Well, he's not as fast as Charles Woodson.
But so okay, 2, that's nice, but nothing eye-popping there. But of his 38 total interceptions, 6 of them were in the end zone. 6 of the 38 were in the end zone. And 16 of his 38 were in the red zone. Those are game-changing, drive-stopping points off the board for your opponents. That was the kind of impact that guy had. Oh man. And for some reason, the Packers after 2014 let him go. And then we had the domino effect, because that next year was when they drafted the baseball player and the basketball player. Maybe if they kept
Kevin King.
Maybe if they kept Tramon around, they might not have drafted all those dudes.
Then they drafted Jair and Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson.
I just thought that was pretty cool. 16 of them in the red zone, 6 in the end zone. So, yeah, that's pretty amazing stuff, man. Tramon was a man. He still is the man. He retired on his 38th birthday, too. I didn't realize that. Turned 38, number 38, retired. You know what? I was thinking about how good he was, right? After looking at all that stuff, and I looked up his career stats, and I'm like, so I looked up the Hall of Fame defensive backs that you can compare kind of in his era, because there are a bunch of older guys in there. There's not nearly enough defensive backs in the Hall of Fame, by the way. If you ever look up Pro Football Hall of Fame, there's not nearly enough defensive backs in there. But I looked at his stats against some of the more modern time guys, Champ Bailey, Ty Law, of course, Woodson, and there's another guy or two in there that I can't think of right now. And he wasn't quite to the numbers of like Woodson and some of the surefire guys, but pretty comparable to like what Ty Law did and a couple other guys that are in there. And I'm like, you can make a case for Tramon Williams being a Hall of Famer, dude. And no one ever talked about him like that during his career.
I think so too. I mean, 38 picks. That's a lot. And all those pass defense. I mean,
I think he only had 1 Pro Bowl in that whole time. I got to look that up again, but
I know that's because he doesn't get the name. I mean, come on. He's an undrafted free agent. It's not like he's a guy who's going to get all the freaking stats. And look at how long it took Corey Linsley to get in the Pro Bowl. He had to be hurt to get in. Oh, Lee's asking about if we look at scout the players in the draft. Lee, I did last year because it was during coronavirus time, right? And I had, in my job at the time, I didn't work for about 5 weeks where we were closed down. And I had tons of time. And I studied a whole bunch of, are you ready for this, Lee? This is what I studied tape on. What were the Packers' needs last year? Wide receiver, inside linebacker, defensive tackle. Okay. And then a little bit, and also offensive tackle. Those are the 4 positions I studied last year because those were the needs the Packers had. And I went through them all. And I talked about them extensively on Hafeman Brothers last year in the spring of 2020. And the Packers drafted 0 wide receivers, 0 offensive tackles, 1 inside linebacker who was hurt. I actually didn't even look at. And what was the other one I said? Oh, D tackle. No D tackles, even though those are all the things they need. So this year I've decided I don't give a crap. I don't have time for that crap. I'm working now, and I'm not wasting my time looking at all this crap to figure out what they're going to do because they're obviously going to do something dumb. So, yeah. I mean, maybe I'll look at some stuff if I see something and I'm like, that's really, because some, me, I can't handle. Jace, you know me. I'll look at some stuff, but
yeah, you will. You look at it.
But I mean, like, I don't know. Last year I really liked this one guy, and he wasn't even drafted. So obviously I don't know jack squat. So I don't know if you should really trust anything I say. Aaron Parker, wide receiver from Rhode Island. I love that guy. He was awesome. Contested catches. He would get double teamed, catch everything. Running routes, great. He had no speed. He reminded me of James Jones. Okay, that's the kind of guy he was. And it's a guy the Packers don't have. They don't have a contested catch, do the dirty work type of guy who's shifty and not fast, but still pretty big. He was like 6'1", 205 pounds. So he's a solid wide receiver without speed, with good hands, and catches a lot of touchdowns. Packers don't have that guy. Packers, and undrafted, and he signed with the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy, where they already had like 17 wide receivers on the damn team. So I don't know why the Packers didn't go after Aaron Parker. He's probably still on the practice squad for the Cowboys this year. It'd be awesome if they could get him, but there's a bunch of other guys I went over, right, Jace? We talked about it. There's also Neville Gallimore, Ross Blacklock. Who's that one guy I like to play air guitar? There's some guy who played air guitar after he got a sack, the D tackle. I don't remember what his name was. He was awesome. They didn't draft him either. I was sending videos to Jason and all the guys like Bruce and, well, not Bruce yet, but Eckes and Browner about this D tackles and wide receivers and all these guys I loved and inside linebackers. Luke Wilson, Troy Dye, guys I was into. I thought were going to be pretty good. Of course, Patrick Queen, who I thought if you watch our drafts show that got us a bunch of views, we all thought it was going to be Patrick Queen. Packers drafted Jordan Love, so I'm not wasting my time with that crap this year. Sorry, Lee, don't get mad. It's going to be a bunch of random crap again, probably.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm looking up one quick thing here, Ben. I'm just going to verify again to myself.
Verify to yourself. Ooh.
Yeah, because I remember looking at this. So talk a little bit more here, and I'm going to come back with it. It's an interesting tidbit.
Well, the other thing that happened today was all the trades. Holy crap. I don't know if anybody heard about that. Picks going all over the place. Jason, you and I were talking in a text earlier today about the future of Aaron Rodgers and how you were thinking you saw an article, there's 5 teams the Packers are going to try to trade him to next year and all this kind of crazy stuff, and people don't want to hear it, I know. But I was saying, they're going to trade the 49ers because they're going to try to, give them, do them a solid when they send them out of town like jerks. Well, that ain't going to happen now because the 49ers jumped up from 12 to number 3 in the draft this year to get a quarterback. And not only that, the Dolphins traded from 3 back to 12, got 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for the 49ers. Then they traded back up to 6 with the Eagles. So they went from 3 to 6, got a first-round pick, an extra first-round pick, and an extra third-round pick out of the deal by just moving down 3 spots. And they're still going to get the guy they want, probably at wide receiver, because there's like 3 good receivers in the top of the draft. And they're going to get the guy they want at 6, or one of the guys that they like at 6. So the freaking Dolphins won the draft so far before it even started with all these crazy trades. It was like 2 seconds after they traded with the 49ers, they traded the 49ers pick back to the Eagles to jump back up to 6 again, from moving down from 3 to 12 to 6. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on today. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And everybody's trading 3 picks and moving around. And I was like, whoa. So
you love trades, man. So
anyway, 49ers are drafting the quarterback this draft. So Aaron Rodgers will not be a 49er next year. So here's the other thing. That's another draft partner that the Packers aren't going to have. Like the Packers think they're going to trade Aaron Rodgers after this year if they don't redo his structure, his contract to save money, and they're just going to be like, oh, we're going to wait year to year, and then next year they're going to try to trade him. Nobody's going to need him anymore. Nobody's going to be able to handle it. People are drafting quarterbacks left and right this year. There's like 5 quarterbacks that everybody says is good, better than any quarterback from last year, other than Justin Herbert. So I don't know.
Maybe the Packers jumped the gun on that one too. Who knows? Hey, so just a quick tidbit here, though. Did you know? So did you know here?
Yeah.
Charles Woodson and Tramon Williams. We're gonna take a quick comparison. Tramon Williams, Charles Woodson had eight double-digit seasons where he had double-digit passes defended, and one of those seasons he had more than 20.
Whoa.
Pass defended.
And he also played inside with the Packers.
Almost as many passes defended as Kevin King had in his 4 years. Charles Woodson had in 1 year. Just to circle back around to that.
Yeah, you can't compare a all-time
I know.
Hall of Famer to a piece of crap.
And to make Tramon's, one of the arguments to make Tramon's case for the Hall of Fame, which I really think he should be considered, he's not first ballot, but I think he should get in. Is Tramon had 9 double-digit seasons of passes defended, one more than Woodson had, and he played less seasons.
Wow.
And he had 2 that were 20 or more. So.
Wow.
Just an interesting tidbit from a man, Tramon, who should, now I'm going to call him Hall of Fame Tramon because he freaking should be in the Hall of Fame.
I honestly, when you were telling me it's 38 interceptions and that you said he had 80 some tackles 1 year and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
First of all, we didn't give Tramon the respect he deserved even when he was there.
He made the Pro Bowl He made the Pro Bowl one time.
The problem was he was on a team with Charles Woodson, who was a defensive player of the year at one point. So if you're a cornerback, you're an undrafted corner on a team with a defensive player of the year cornerback, you're not going to get any recognition, no matter how good you are. Because that guy's really good too. And he's a big name guy. But when you take Tramon's stats and you put him up against a whole bunch of other corners, he's way better than just about everybody. And I was thinking about it too. I was like, I think Tramon is like a borderline Hall of Fame type player. I mean, I think he's just as good as Leroy Butler was. Leroy Butler had a good 5 or 6 years where he was really awesome, right? And then he started off slow and he tailed off at the end, right? Tramon had a good 6 years where he was unbelievably awesome. And not only that, he made huge plays in the playoffs. And that really, really helps you with that Hall of Fame vote because you can bring up these plays that everybody knows and everybody recognizes, right? And it's crazy to talk about it. Like Tramon Williams, a Hall of Famer, he should be considered. Not now, obviously, or not 5 years from now. But you know what? 10, 15 years from now? Like, when you look back at that Packers Super Bowl team from 2010, 2011, playoffs, tell me a player who was more important to the success on defense than him. I don't think there is one. I mean, Woodson was great, but he even got hurt in the freaking Super Bowl. He didn't even play the whole second half. And I mean, and don't get me wrong, Nick Collins, it was a team of really good players on the defense, which is why they were the number 1 defense or were like top 10 or something that year. But I mean,
yeah,
it was just, that was the other thing. He played with a lot of good defensive players. So maybe that helped his stats. I don't know. But I mean, Ryan Pickett, BJ Raji, I mean, come on, Howard Green, Colin Jenkins. That's a great defensive line. You had Clay Matthews. You had Eric Walden. You had Frank Zombo. Those guys were all pretty decent pass rushers. A.J. Hawk was okay. I don't even remember who the other Desmond Bishop. Was he there yet at that point? I think he was. He was starting, wasn't he? Desmond Bishop?
Yep.
Yeah, he picked up the fumble after Clay Matthews caused the fumble with Pickett when they on the running back for the Steelers. Bishop, we covered that fumble. So Bishop was your inside linebacker. He was an underrated, awesome inside linebacker, by the way, too. And then you had your defensive backs were Sam Shields, super speed, Tramon Williams, awesome, all-around guy. Woodson, who was defensive player of the year. and you had Nick Collins at safety, and then you had Charlie Pepper, the most underrated freaking guy in Packer history. That's a freaking killer defense. Holy crap. Think about those guys on defense. Compare that to what we have now. Good God. Right. We got like Jair and who else? Nobody.
Yeah.
Jair's the only awesome playmaker on the whole defense. Rashawn Gary's coming up, but man.
Let me give you a quick snapshot of Tramon's consistency too, just to make his Hall of Fame case. We'll make it right here tonight, which is between 2008 and 2015. So he had an 8-year run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year run. His second year, his first full, and he only started 9 games in his first in 2008. He played 16, but only started 9. But he had 5 picks that year. So in that time, he had double digit. He had every season he had double digit passes defense. Every season he had 56 or more tackles, all in a row. And every one of those seasons, except for the last one, the first 7 of those, he had 3. I'm sorry, he had one in there with 2 interceptions, but he had 5 interceptions one year, 4, 6, 4, 2, 3, 3, 1. So during that stretch of time, 8 seasons, which that's sometimes one player's whole career.
Heck yeah, it is.
He had averaged 3.5 interceptions per game, or per year. Per year. He had 28 total picks. He had 121 passes defended, which is more than 15 a year.
Crap.
More than 15 a year.
More than Kevin King's career.
During that stretch. And he also had 431 solo tackles, 10 assisted tackles, or 87 assisted tackles. So he had 65 tackles per season. So he averaged 65 tackles per season, 15 passes defended per season, and 3.5 picks per season during that 8-year stretch.
That's Hall of Fame. I don't care. I know Lee's saying he doesn't think he's Hall of Fame. He's not Hall of Fame. I know, but he's borderline, dude. I'm telling you.
Look at the other corners that are in the Hall of Fame.
Not only that, he's Packer Hall of Fame 100%. We all know that. We all know that. But I mean, he's like a super deserving Packer Hall of Fame, not like William Henderson, freaking Hall of Fame, Packer Hall of Fame. Like that guy he doesn't deserve it. That guy sucks. William Henderson's terrible. Always was. Couldn't stand him. I've never seen Dorsey Levin's rushing yards per carry went from 4.7 or 4.8 yards per carry on a single back set to then they would do I formation with William Henderson blocking in front of him would somehow go to 3.2. How the hell does that happen? And then everybody says William Henderson is so good. Look at all he blocked. He doesn't block anybody. He was terrible. He made Dorsey worse. Dorsey was better when he wasn't in front of him, getting in the way. I mean, come on. William Henderson was shit. Oh, crap.
Whoa.
Sorry.
You too.
I got mad. I hate William Henderson. I hate William Henderson.
Why do you got to go so negative after we're just celebrating Tramon? Look, I'm sitting here going Tramon crazy, but I did not recognize how damn. I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was that good. And it makes me even more mad that the Packers parted ways with him after 2014, because that's a dude you should have kept around, especially at a spot that you couldn't find good guys for in the draft to save your life. So anyway.
Well, it just shows that the Packers will sometimes move on from a great player before they should. Guess what might happen next year?
I don't want to talk about that. Let's finish with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones signed his contract today. He's happy.
Yeah.
He was happy. Tell us what you thought about that.
Well, I was sitting downstairs eating my lunch, and Olivia was down there with me. And I was looking through YouTube, and all of a sudden there popped up Aaron Jones live press conference. I was like, what? So I clicked it, and it still hadn't gone on yet. So then he went on, and Olivia and I watched the whole thing. And Olivia, she's not really much of a football person, a little bit, but not really. She doesn't really know what's going on. But she's sitting there eating, and I'm eating. And then Aaron Jones would say something. She'd look at me, and she'd be like, she just smiled. And then she laughed a couple times. And then after it was done, she's like, boy, he really is a good guy, isn't he? I was like, yes. Because she never really saw an Aaron Jones interview before. She just would see, like, me, I talk about Aaron Jones all the time. And I'd be like, look at the highlights. And I go watch the highlights. I'd be like, watch this, Olivia. And she'd be like, whatever. Then after the thing, then this is my 14-year-old daughter, everybody. So, And she was like, wow, he really is a really good, awesome guy, isn't he? And I was like, yes. He is an awesome, cool, just regular, awesome dude. And he proved it in his interview today. He proves it every time he's on the field. He's just great. And it was really cool. He was really excited. He's also excited about the guy, Kevin King and Mercedes Lewis getting signed back too. I don't want to talk about that. But he, and at the very end, he took his chain with the Packers symbol on it, and he was all like, it just, when he was doing that at the end of the year last year, after he scored touchdowns and he took his Packers chain, and I was like, God dang, this guy, he loves the Pack. He loves playing in Green Bay for the Packers. And I thought for sure they never signed him back. And they asked him, they were like, did you think that maybe there was a chance that you might not be back at the Packers? And he was like, yeah. I mean, it crossed my mind because things weren't happening. And he was like, he's like, but I really, really, really wanted it to. So that's pretty awesome.
This is what he said. Quote, I feel like this is a perfect fit for me. I've been in this offense. I know what comes with it. I know my teammates here, and we feel like we have unfinished business. And Aaron Jones, I hope you can take it to another level and make that happen, bro, because we need you. We need all that. I just hope there's enough on the team to make it happen, man.
Well, I think what's going to happen is the only worry I have, to be honest, is the offensive line, right? That's the part that scares me a little bit. But I think the fact that Jamal Williams is gone is only going to lead to more things for A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones to dominate.
Yep.
And it's just going to come down. I mean, there's two things I think that could sabotage the offense. One of them is Devontae Adams, and the other one is the offensive line. And people are going to think I'm crazy for the Devontae Adams thing, but all I know is the Packers are undefeated when Devontae Adams doesn't play.
He also said, this is home for me, man.
That's right.
Look, scrolling through the Packers Twitter here. Look what the Packers did. Oh, we don't want to see that. Look what else the Packers did, though, right here. Before, a couple days ago, they're trying to see what they're doing is they're trying to play the game where they're like, okay, we did some bad stuff, but look, we got some cool guys here, too. So let's showcase those guys. So their marketing team is pretty smart, showcasing Aaron Jones, doing all the stuff with Aaron Jones. And then also the other day, they had to put this up right here.
What?
Man, the best of summertime 42. Because that was his number in college. Of course, he started his Twitter account when he was in college. Maybe in high school. Who knows? Number 44, second season. Now, if you didn't know, Hafeman Bros, at Bros Hafeman, just started on Twitter. Let's take a look at that real quick because we need some more followers, guys.
Oh, we did that?
Yeah. Look at this. We just started it up.
Why do you always use that picture of me making a stupid face?
Because Lineker commented that you look kind of like a cross between Brett Favre and
a 90-year-old man? Yeah, thanks.
It was actually the only one that kind of fit the dimensions of the photos I had at the time. But look, I put this nice one here and there. Anyway.
Yeah, but it makes it look like you're taller than me, and you're not. So I don't know what was I doing there. I'm like a foot, not a foot. I'm an inch taller than you. Why am I shorter than you there?
I don't know. That's just the pose you went for. I can't control what you do. If that's not been clear in 2 years on this show, I don't know what the hell is clear. All right, so I just started this last night, and I tried to reach out to get something out. My first thing I put out was something about Ty Summers right here. I shared it from Wisco Phil. Ty Summers hitting Leonard Fournette in a painful game. Right? There he is. Watch him. Watch him do it. He's right here.
Yeah, let's watch his aggressiveness.
Watch him. Go get
Look
it.
at that. Hits the hole, smacks the dude. I don't see why he doesn't get to be on the field. I mean, what the crap?
He better. That's what I put right here. I said right here, I'm like,
Jesus.
One of our guys, Ty Summers, during that painful loss, 44 better see the field a lot more in 2021. All right. I just wanted to say my first 9 place people were following. This is what I selected. Alan Lazard, Ty Summers.
That's good. I'll take
Sean Gary.
All righty.
Robert Tunyon Jr.
You betcha.
Showtime _33.
100%.
High Riser 22.
All the way.
Lucas Patrick 62.
He's the man.
Buckets all _day. Kingsley Kiki.
This guy's on. He's going to be a Pro Bowler this year.
And Green Bay Packers.
He's on the way.
These are like our favorite dudes.
These are all our favorite players.
Are these your favorite dudes? Kingsley Kiki, Lucas Patrick, Aaron Jones, Robert Tunyon, Sean Gary, Ty Summers, Alan Lazard.
You're missing Jair Alexander.
I'll get him in there. Those were the guys I thought of right away. I'm like, the more, not the high profile guys, but like the guys that are awesome. Except for Jonesy, he's high profile, but
Yeah, he is. And so is Jair.
Tunyon's getting there too. He'll get his too. But Kingsley Kiki was the first one I saw. I was like, give me that guy. Buckets all day. Let's get him. So those are the guys we're going to follow. Hopefully you'll follow us at Bros Hafeman on Twitter. We'll start putting stuff out. I'll give Ben the info. Follow this guy too right here.
Yeah.
Cyclist, home brewer, worm wrangler. Follow that guy. Look at this guy right here. Boom. Nick Farland. And I don't know who Angry Wet Noodle is.
But they follow us.
Check into that one. What the heck? Let's give it a shot. At Bros Hafeman on Twitter. We'll put some stuff out. Ben likes to tweet. Take it over, Ben.
I think we're ready to go home.
No, I mean, take over the Twitter, not the show. Not the show.
Oh, no. I don't tweet nothing. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. All right. We'll start doing it.
I hate Twitter. I think it's just too much information. It's just a bunch of random crap all the time. It annoys me. I only follow like 3 things. Kip Winger. What else do I follow? Mark Hamill. And Aaron Jones. I think that's it. No, I follow Robert Tunyon, and I have Lazard too. I didn't even know Kiki had. Well, I'm sure he has Twitter. I didn't know. I don't follow him or Ty Summers. I'll have to get on that.
Oh, we got a thumbs down for tonight's episode already. There's one hater out there who comes back. Sorry if we were negative. It's probably Kevin King. Sorry,
by the way,
Kevin.
I talked to Mom and Dad the other day, and they're not. They say we got to stop being so negative. We're losing fans. We're losing listeners. We're losing people. But
look, man. Well, then the Packers got to start doing some stuff that makes sense, right? Well, they do some stuff. They got to do more of the stuff that makes sense. This draft is going to be.
It's going to be big.
Really important to the success of the team moving forward.
But the problem is they could draft the right people, and then they have Kevin King and all these other guys in the wrong spots that might start over them. You know, it's the coaches have to play the right guys too.
Right. That's true. Coaches got to evaluate and play the guys that make plays. That's how it's got to be.
I mean, Goody is forcing the Jordan Love by letting Boyle go, and the coaches need to force Goody to cut some crap by not playing. Period. Who can play at that game, LaFleur? Fight back. Let's go.
All right. On a positive note, the Milwaukee Bucks were surging. They'd won 8 in a row before losing to the Celtics today, so they're coming along. Plus, the other night
they were on ESPN tonight. That's why.
Ooh, the other night, dude. Oh, I think it was like either early this week or late last week. They shot 62% from downtown in the whole game.
Yeah, but they're too streaky.
Scored 140 points.
That's why they always lose in the playoffs.
But my man Pat Connaughton was nailing them. Freaking everybody was hitting them from outside. Brookie, everybody.
Yeah, and then they hit the playoffs, and then Brooke can't hit the side of a barn, and Middleton stinks. And
no, Middleton was good.
Not in the playoffs. Disappears in the playoffs.
And DiVincenzo and those other guys are an upgrade over Eric Bledsoe. You know that, so definite upgrade.
Those three pretty much sum up Ben's life. What 3? What is he talking about?
Kip Winger.
Yeah, okay.
Toilet seats at Olsenite, and what else did you say?
No. What did I say? Kip Winger. Oh yeah, Kip Winger, Mark Hamill, and Aaron Jones. That's about it. Yeah.
Did you used to have dreams about toilet seats back when you worked at the toilet seat factory?
Well, no. What happens is, why are we telling? Okay, so
I'm gonna finish on this. Make it good.
What happened? I worked at a toilet seat factory, which is where in the summertime, right? And there's just one thing where you have to take. It was molded wood toilet seats. Okay. And I worked in the finishing room my first week there, which in my first 2 years actually. But the first thing you have to do, or you go on this line and you pick up the wooded seat and the wooded top, and you hang them on this line thing. Okay, hang on the line. Grab it, hang it on the line, hang it on the line. And you do that for half an hour or whatever, and then you just rotate. Everybody rotates down one spot. And there's other things. There's like you put them together on this machine, and then you pack them up and all this kind of stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But the thing that is the most annoying is that hanging them up on the line. And so you keep doing that all day long, right? I mean, you're not doing it all day long, I guess, because there's probably half the day. You're because there's 3 stations where you're hanging up toilet seats, right? Boom, 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 all day long. Boom, pick up toilet seat, hang it on the line. Because then it goes through this line and gets painted, and then comes back around again. Okay. And my first, I think it was after my 3rd day working there, I was sleeping, And I woke up and my hands were going like this as I'm sleeping. So I'm like doing the toilet seats, putting the toilet seats out of line in my dream. Because that's all I did for 4 hours out of my 8-hour day, doing the same freaking motion. And my hands kept doing it while I was sleeping at night. It was really weird. Well, it's not the greatest story, but that's what happened.
All right, I got one quick visual for you here. Let's see if this brings anything back for you. There it is. Anything?
What about it? That's a weird one. That's
well, it's new.
That's
you worked there like 20 some years ago or whatever.
That's a public toilet seat or a business toilet seat.
Yeah.
I only made
they're all business for me.
Home toilet seats. Your business is always number 2. Does it say number 2? Jason, number 2. Yeah, that's what you do.
All right. At that, we'll let it go. We'll hope that
Rashad
Mom is
Bateman.
correct.
Lisa says we got to check out Rashad Bateman.
All right. We'll check it out at 29. Let's see. Oh, that's who he wants in the draft. Mom says Packers will finally draft what we need to win a Super Bowl. And that's what Lee was trying to get us. Rashad Bateman at number 29. All right. Rick says number 1 in the number 2 business. You are correct.
That was the t-shirt.
Classic. Well, the t-shirt was where number 1 and number 2 are our business.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. I kept that t-shirt as long as I could until it started falling apart.
Yeah, me too. Mine, and the best part was mine was like a pukey green brown color.
Yeah.
So it was even better. It was a great color. Because I think you had like a light gray one.
Yeah, mine was just sport gray or whatever.
Mine was like puke brown green, like poopy, nasty diarrhea color. So it really fit.
Thanks for that.
It was perfect.
Thanks for that. Mom says that
brings back horrible memories.
All right. That's all you wanted to know about toilet seats and Kevin King. And at least now you know that Tramon Williams should probably be in the Hall of Fame sometime. All right. Take care. Stay well, everybody.